What is the true difference between ASCAP and BMI for artists? That's what we're going over in today's video. If you're not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you get updates on important new videos like this one, so artists like yourself can benefit from the information. All right, so this is not the most exciting topic, but it can be because it involves money for the artist. And these are royalties that a lot of artists don't collect, a lot of artists don't know about. You may have heard the terms, ASCAP and BMI, but do we really understand what it is they do? That's what we're going over in today's video. So there's an article here. This is a bunch of articles about this subject. We have some on our website. Two Story Melody, shout out to them. We work with them a good bit, so shout out to them. They wrote a great article on this, and it's just breaking down essentially what's better for artists, ASCAP or BMI. But first, let's understand what they do. So there's different types of royalties in music. A lot of artists are familiar with the royalties that they get from streaming services, like your Spotify and Apple Music and Amazon and all those. But there's different legal terms and definitions for which royalties are doing what. So there's composition royalties and recording royalties. All right, so I will just read the definition and then we'll break it down. Composition royalties are songwriting royalties earned by the somewhat abstract notion of the composition. A composition is defined loosely by its lyrics and or melody, and you can think of it as essentially the song itself, an entity separate from any specific performance or recording of it. All right, so not the performance, separate from any specific performance or recording of it. As a copyrighted piece of property, it collects royalties for its use. These are owed to the copyright owner and any co-owners, which is usually the songwriter, co-writers, and the publisher. So a lot of these terms, just broad stroke. You don't need to try to break it down to understand in layman's terms. A lot of these, if you're mostly just making your money from streaming revenue right now, it's probably not as big of a deal to you, these performance royalties. Whenever you start to get bigger and your music is played in restaurants and stadiums and venues and so on and so forth, that's when it starts to get to be a bigger deal for you to collect all this back-end money, so to speak. The recording royalties, next, we'll just read the definition, are earned by the tangible form the song takes as the public hears it. When you record one of the songs, it takes on a fixed form which has its own copyright separate from the melody and our lyrics that you created. Now, a lot of times, the question I ask myself, are all these really necessary? Is there a better solution that can be had versus coming up with all these different terms and saying like this is separate from that, these lyrics are separate from this melody? Like, is that the best solution? I personally think that the best solution for doing away with a lot of this stuff is that artists can set the streaming rate for their songs. Whenever technology gets that in place, where Spotify doesn't tell you how much you get paid per song, you tell the platform how much you want to charge per song. So it's like a hybrid model of what used to happen when artists would sell their CDs, or even the digital downloads of saying, hey, this is 99 cents. If you want to buy this, it would instead be, here's just a very small fee to pay the song, maybe like a penny or half of a penny or something like that. And then people can just play it at will. That will cover pretty much all these back-end royalties. You'll get paid way more than the current model right now, and that will cover a lot of these back-end royalties that happen. But as it stands today, they pretty much, ASCAP and BMI are going over one type of royalty. That's just going to be your performance royalties. So they have nothing really to do with mechanical royalties, which are, think of those like, I believe Harry Fox Agency collects some of those, and there's some others out there, but they're collecting a separate type of royalty than your PRO, your performance rights organization. So they essentially are hunting down places where your art is performed. That may be, like I said, a stadium, a coffee shop, a restaurant. They're going to all these places and making sure they have the proper rights to play said songs, that they pay a fee to BMI or ASCAP, and then BMI and ASCAP pays that to you. So it's a lot of manual stuff still. I'm sure they have technology in place that makes it easier now, but still a lot of manual stuff going and like setting up all these relationships with the places, which is why I personally think there's better solutions going forward than to do a lot of this stuff. Like, obviously they have a lot of power, so they'll probably will never go away fully. But it's just a lot of headache for artists to like set up all these different things that don't necessarily have to be that way. So even one example here, we'll go into performance royalties, for example, are split in half, with one half being designated as the writer share and the other half being designated as the publisher share. Unfortunately, unless you are signed to a publishing deal or have a publishing administrator like Songtrust, your performance right organization will withhold the publisher's share of your royalties. Does it really have to be that way? Again, I think not. But this is how it is now. Now, I'm sure there's some legal frameworks, how it's written, why it's this the way it is now. But is it the best solution? Is it the most efficient way to go forward? Absolutely not. It's not the most efficient way. Now, the difference of should you join ASCAP or BMI? ASCAP has a $50 one-time fee to join, whereas BMI does not. BMI is a bit larger than ASCAP. I believe they have about 1 million people under the belt, whereas ASCAP might have like close to 1 million, but it's not as many. But BMI does not have any fee to join. It really depends on where you are in the country. Like some of the extra things that they both essentially do the same thing. Some people might say, BMI does a better job at this, ASCAP does a better job at that. They essentially do the same thing, which is going to hunt down the royalties, performance royalties from all these different places. The thing that might make it interesting is if they have like events in your city. So $50 is not all that much money. And if they have events in your city or like workshops or, scholarships and grants and all this stuff, and you can go talk to those people who have a presence in your city, then maybe it makes sense to pay that $50 and sign up with ASCAP. They both, like it takes them a while to pay out those royalties anyway, because a lot of manual work, as I was saying. So it takes them 2 quarters, like after that song was played in the restaurant or wherever, to actually pay it to you. So it's like 6 to 9 months after the song was played, you'll see your money. It's a long time. Versus if there was a technology that you could just get paid per stream, then that can be sent instantly. Versus even the 2 to 3 months it takes Spotify or Apple Music to pay you. Just saying. The other, the places that ASCAP has a good presence are places like Nashville, Atlanta, where we are, LA, New York. Might be worth it to sign with them there, just for like the events and networking and stuff. But BMI, again, the largest one. They have, I believe it's over 1 million members now. It's free. They pay, they're both paying pretty much the same rate to artists. They pay 88% of the collections they get to their members, and they obviously keep some for their operating and payroll and all that stuff. And have some of the same benefits, like the workshops and whatnot. They're also affiliated with Billboard. So they may have a more efficient system in some instances, but obviously ASCAP has a large organization, and they have different benefits, like offering discounts to artists for instruments, insurance, even as therapy and hotel stays. So that's the main difference between BMI and ASCAP. Just those few nuance differences. But the overarching thing, I think the main point to get across to artists is there's these royalties that you can collect that you may not be collecting, especially if you do a lot of performances or your music's being played in these places. And also just to think forward, is there a better way to go about this? I personally think yes. No shade to ASCAP or BMI. Y'all don't come for me. That is just what I am thinking. So with that being said, you guys hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if we missed anything, or you think there's a better one out there. CSAC is one of the organizations as well, but they're invite only. So let us know if we missed anything. Drop your comments, drop your thoughts, drop your experiences, and we will catch you guys in the next video.